Hello, everyone. This is episode 27 of SEO Unmasked. Today is March 15th, 2018. Glad to have you with us as always. I'm Garrett Groff.
I'm John Genorio.
Don't be so modest. You're the Honourable Goyden.
The Honourable Goyden.
I'm the very tired Steve.
Yes, we have special guest John with us. Vin's on his honeymoon this week on a cruise or some shit, so John's been nice enough to fill in.
And John's name, I'm not sure who sent in the word of the day, but thanks.
That was me.
Oh,
It's a good word.
Thanks, Garrett. I think that's our most ridiculous word of the day ever. So I think we should aim for a keyword density of 0% from here. And
okay. Oh yeah. In other news, 3 more videos for the 24 hours of SEO charity event went up last night. Sorry about the delay. Just been super busy between the both of us. Who did I throw up there? I already forgot. Paul Shapiro, Jared Hobbs, and someone else. I'm sorry who I'm forgetting, but there's 3 new ones up. If you go to 24hoursofseo.com, all the videos are there. Also, they're on our YouTube channel, but if you sign up on the 24hoursofseo.com, you get the slideshows that the viewers supplied, or the presenters supplied. So not everyone had a deck, but if you guys had their slideshows that they were nice enough to give us, like Nick Eubanks and Mike Blumenthal and Paul Shapiro, those guys all gave their decks out. So those are downloadable once you sign up on the 24hoursSEO.com.
Yeah, and there's going to be a bit of bonus content later in the year as well. So you're going to get some extra stuff from some of the presenters that are coming back for next year. They're going to share a few bonus things planned, so you'll get them by email, and those won't be shared again. So if you're on the list for this year's event, you'll get all the slide decks, and you'll get some bonus content that's only going to be shared in between the 2 events. So definitely.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, this is stuff that you'd probably be paying $1,500, $2,000 to go to a conference, and a lot of these guys talked about stuff that they don't normally talk about when they're on the conference tour. So probably most of it you're probably only going to find here, and it's free. And you can just donate whatever you're able to the Just Giving page, or buy some gear, some t-shirts, coffee mugs, whatever the fuck you want to buy.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, first up in the news, I think a lot of us have been seeing around the internet that Google is starting to eliminate search results in some cases. For example, if you Google what time is it somewhere, they might just give you the time in Los Angeles and not show a single search result until you ask it to, which is interesting. I know a lot of people seem to be really upset, but to me it's like, I don't know why anyone would even want to click a search result. When I Google that shit, like what time is it in the Philippines, I just want to know. I don't want to have to click.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rand had the good point that when he's looking, he's usually traveling. So he's looking for when daylight savings changes in the different places and all the other usual information you get on a proper website. Obviously, Google can add all of that to this snippet, and then his argument's moot. But at the minute, they've not really replicated all the features of the sites they've taken away. It's kind of the standard thing they do. It's like when they move into any place, they stick their thing at the top, and arguably, it's never as good as what it's replaced. Like when they first put their flight search on, everyone still, you still had to navigate to Skyscanner because it didn't work as well.
That's a good argument, yeah.
And I think someone tweeted that Time magazine are no doubt delighted with this change.
Well,
yeah.
It's just continuous displacement, isn't it? Go on, John.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's not a big deal just looking at the what time is it stuff, but all these changes that they've rolled out have always started like this. Like it started, 50% of the keywords aren't going to be provided. And 5 years later, 75%. Another couple years later, nope, no keyword data at all. I just don't trust them to stop here at all.
No.
Well, it's clearly not their intention to. I mean, this is just the latest widget that's displacing search results, and I can see this happening in flights. You type flights in, and it just takes you to their flights portal.
It is already pretty close.
Yeah, and I think for the ones they don't do, I wouldn't be surprised to see them do what AOL did when they had complete portal control of the internet and start selling the keywords. So you type in. Yeah, like you type in something they don't do, like Viagra, and say you're one of the big 5 legal Viagra pharmacies in the US. One of them can buy the keyword for, 50 million a month, and it'll take you straight to the kind of the doctor's page, so you can have your online consultation or whatever. I mean, I know Google's kind of anti-pharmaceutical, so they probably wouldn't do that one, but it was the only example I could think off the top of my head for a keyword they don't currently compete in themselves. But I'm sure someone who has more niche sites than me can think of 100 examples where they could sell the keyword really easily to someone they're not interested in competing themselves yet. So I think it's just becoming more and more, as more and more people just, and if you look at browser behavior, quite often when you just type some random shit in your browser now, it just goes straight to Google or Bing, depending on which browser you're using, and you just get straight to search results. So even the browsers are enabling the kind of portalizing of the web by these, 2 main search providers. Obviously in the US, it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like over 75 in Britain. It's like 91% Google. They've got the position that AOL had back in the day where they can just sell a keyword because people are just mashing it into their search bar, regardless of whether they know the URL or not. Like people are typing in Skyscanner, not going to skyscanner.com and then they click the search results. So it's kind of regressed to where people are behaving like Google is AOL again.
I agree with that. I actually do that more often than I probably think I do.
Yeah, I've noticed myself doing
in cases where some sites I use, I forget if it's .com or .net or something. I'll just jam the domain in without the TLD and go that route because I'm lazy.
So Time Magazine need to pony up their 100 million a month to buy this keyword back from Google, so they can.
I don't think they have 100 million in the bank.
Well, if you just Google straight up time, I mean, it's still a full search result.
Yeah. But I think that was a joke by the person that tweeted it.
Yeah. So what was this second tweet about? We were kind of confused what this guy is on. Is he?
I don't know.
I didn't get this.
It was the one you had from Dominic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is one of Google Flights' competitors that's been searched for the way we were talking about with the portalization of the web. So this European flights company's been searched for, and Google have inserted into the menu their flights link. So the person who's tweeted it's obviously being sarcastic and saying, forget position 0, it's position menu bar you need to optimize for.
Oh.
Funny how only Google can get the position menu bar results. And I guess it's a bigger deal to them because if he's German as well, obviously there's the big antitrust stuff going on with Google over position 0 as it is. Now they're sticking themselves in the menu where no one else can go for their competitors' branded searches.
Okay, that's interesting.
They're not making it easy for themselves in the scheme of things in terms of that antitrust case. They're obviously pretty confident they're going to win, or they wouldn't be sticking 2 fingers up with this kind of behavior, I guess.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Their lawyers must be like, yeah, don't worry, this is a slam dunk. Let's push the envelope even further. They'll probably just settle for some absurd amount of money that's nothing to Google. Like, here's 400 million.
Yeah, that's in the ballpark of what they settled for all the shady pharma stuff they were doing all those years.
Yeah, I don't think they were even doing anything that's wrong then. They were just, like, can you really believe, I mean, you see the shady stuff that gets run as ads in major broadsheet newspapers. Like, all those great copywriters that have books now were selling, like, God knows what type items, like a new alarm clock thing for $400 and bullshit like that. None of the newspapers are vetting the quality of the ads they were taking. I think Google was held to a pretty unfair high standard in that particular case. Whatever. Probably a good thing in the long run. But I think that's a little bit of an excessive settlement for taking ads, given that the ad industry's behaved that way forever. I think Google was singled out a bit aggressively there in that case. But I think this is a bit more obviously someone clearly doesn't want to go to the Google flights, but they're taking advantage of users kind of like the people were with AOL. If you've got that kind of portal control, some people are going to be like, especially less savvy users, they're just going to click that flights button and get searching, thinking that they've got to where they want to go. Yeah, I'd love to see the click-through on that for their competitors' branded search. I bet it's not insubstantial.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're siphoning off a bunch of traffic, but I don't know.
Gotta get those shekels, man.
It doesn't take much, man. Doesn't take much if you're Google.
Yeah. Anyways, next on the list, big news in the UK or the EU as a whole in general, GDPR, the big initiative to crack down on consumer data, and if you're collecting any data, whether you're inside or outside the EU, the regulations, I don't know much about it, but on Adweek they had a little article saying 15% of marketing agencies are fully compliant with GDPR. Steve thinks it's a lower number, and he's probably right.
Yeah, I would imagine the number who are correctly compliant with the. It's difficult though because the final advice hasn't been given, and if you go to the EU's GDPR guidance page, it tells you loads of stuff that isn't required to do, but then also says this page is just some nonsense we've put up there to help you. Please don't rely on it, and we can still fine you even if you follow this page. So I would imagine there's a great number of people that believe they're compliant who haven't read their individual nation's directives, haven't taken into account that every country has implemented their own version of this when they've put it into national law.
So who has the ultimate say? The EU as a whole, that delegation, or each individual country, or can they both fine you?
The individual country's data commissioner will be responsible for prosecutions relating to their citizens. The European Union will be responsible in some cases for implementing these massive international fines, particularly on overseas companies. That's my take on it. If it were, it's going to work the same way as the old regime, just with these bizarre new rules. If you live in Europe and you've ever visited a website and it's blocking out suddenly all European visitors, you can thank the GDPR, because it's people abroad deciding, do you know what? Fuck this.
Jeez.
We can't be bothered complying with this. We'll just get rid of the European visitors. I mean, we're at the point where we're seriously considering whether it's worth continuing to do business at all with customers in Europe who target the European market. We may work with only rest of world customers. So having European customers isn't a problem, but if they operate a site that needs pitching European journalists and European websites, then we might not take that kind of business going forward, because it could be prohibitively expensive. Well, I mean, unless they were prepared to pay the massive extra cost of doing the work compliant with the new GDPR, which I guess they might be if everyone starts charging them more because of the headache it's going to be. But we're really in a position where we can't do it at the current pricing, because you can't do anything under GDPR, as demonstrated by lots of webmasters deciding that the best thing to happen is for European readers to no longer read their website. Because everything's covered. It's like if you use some random cloud host or something to host your thing, because they could technically hack your account and read your database. They've got access to the data, so you've got to disclose it. And PayPal disclosed something like 480 or some ridiculous number. I forget how many was on that list I found the other day. They've disclosed hundreds of potential people who may see your data, with the estimate that in reality, your data actually is going to go to like 3% of them, but they've still had to put together this massive list of every company that they have anything to do with that might touch some of their data at some point. So just preparing that document for us, a small company, is probably 4 days' work. And that's the simplest part of the whole GDPR process. We may have people that we've had long-standing business relationships with that we need to, but because we're not just, we don't have them in a Rolodex, we have them on, like our Zoho mail account or something is where we've got their contact details. We may have to then contact them with a custom data protection disclaimer saying where their data is stored and when we'll get in touch with them and when we'll delete it if we don't work together for a while.
This is so fucking stupid. It's like, yeah, I think we're just better off paying like the $100 a month for the insurance you can get these days on data breaches, and then letting the insurance pay the fine.
Well, that's the problem. The insurance company will then audit your compliance and ask you to show that you've done all of these steps. So you don't get the insurance.
No escape.
Yeah, lock her down. Effective Monday, we're not doing any business with these people.
Yeah, so it's looking pretty likely that we won't. We definitely won't be doing any EU business at the current pricing because the cost of compliance in order to complete the orders is going to be enormous. It's questionable whether even journalists can opt in via third-party like PR list providers and to be contacted by their clients and things, whether they're opted in correctly or whether these list providers need to recontact all the journalists. But the beauty of the law is if one of your list providers cocks up, you're liable, not the list provider. I mean, they might fine them too. They might double down. They're allowed to double down on the fines.
Sounds like a nice typical bureaucratic movement that's gonna make them money.
The problem with the EU is they write the laws for big multinationals. So like PayPal can afford to put this project together and get it done, and it's fine. And big multinationals have contracts for everything, so all of their end users have to sign their end user license agreement. All of their suppliers have to sign it. So they just amend their contract to make the contract GDPR compliant, have their expensive lawyers handle it, and it's easy. Small businesses have freelancers that aren't on contract. They have suppliers who they work with on an ad hoc basis. They have journalists that they've been for a beer with a few times. All these ad hoc relationships that you haven't had them sign a contract.
No.
So it's much more complicated for small business, but the EU just doesn't understand small business at all at the bureaucratic level where these decisions are made, and we get these ridiculous laws. Like they've just brought in trading as well, the same bullshit you guys have got where you can't, you guys can't just, well, I mean, I don't know how rich you guys are, but I can't, if I was an American citizen, just go and trade like complex options because I'm not rich enough. You've got to be, if you're not rich, you're not smart enough to trade options. The rule over here was always you could, as a professional trader, if you had professional trading experience, not whether you personally were super rich. They've changed it now so that the super rich get access to all the nice financial products, and everyone else you can just buy your tracker fund and go fuck yourself.
I will let you know that you have a secret admirer in the chat today. John Sherburne. Hello, Steve, you beautiful man.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. So even sweating my ass off with a fever, I'm still pulling it off, eh?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why all 20 viewers just tune in for me, guys. I don't know why you...
I'm certain that's true. But yeah, GDPR, what a mess.
Yeah, yep. Sounds like it.
Oh, and the beauty is, even if we have Brexit, it doesn't help us because the rest of Europe's, we're going to pass the law before Brexit anyway, and the whole of Europe's still going to be affected. So,
yeah,
it's just insane.
Yeah. Next on the list, Barry had. So this article about whether or not affiliate links pass juice back to people like Amazon, this isn't exactly why I shared this. When I found this yesterday, some of the comments on this blew my mind. It looks like some of them have disappeared. There was some really ridiculous stuff, but now there's only 3 people that have commented. And I wish I
Got to
would have.
screenshot it, man.
Yeah, I know. I always put no follow affiliate links. Is it affect to my traffics? nor, comma, I should not put it.
Thanks, Kuzik.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't bother no following. Like, I guess, yeah, technically, if you're super worried about losing.
I mean, I guess
linkers,
if your
but-
site has like just Amazon affiliate links that are super obvious to Google, bothering to no follow them is.
Well, so Gary pretty much, or John Mueller said, we don't care about those links. What we care about is your site a good site? Because a good site can have affiliate links. They could have tons of affiliate links and still be a good site.
Well, that's not answering the question though, in terms of whether they're no followed, because affiliates care at the other end because they use it to prop their site up. And I know in the gambling industry there was a trend of having affiliate links that were heavily obfuscated by the person you were linking to. So they would make up new landing pages for all their affiliates that didn't have affiliate codes in, or just like visual inspection of them wouldn't reveal they were affiliate links, so that you could link without the no follow and it would pass the value to them. So I guess affiliates will care whether Google's putting a serious effort into detecting all affiliate links or not, and no following them automatically, because I would say probably around 95% of affiliates themselves don't bother no following them. Just like Garrett said, he doesn't bother. What about you,
Yeah,
John?
if
Do
I
you know follow?
remember, I know follow mine, and I usually pass them through a redirect as well. I don't really think that it matters. I do remember that back in the day, Aaron Wall got penalized because I guess his affiliates weren't following his affiliate links. And
Well, no, he put.
told him.
I think him and Barry had like a stand where they left their paid advertising blog roll links up on the sidebar of their posts and put paid sponsorship above them, but refused to no follow them or something. I think they made like some kind of anti no follow stand. Does Barry no follow his yet?
I think he no followed them eventually. Yeah.
Let's have a look.
yeah,
Spect element. Ad block. Yeah, he no follows them now. He's a good boy now. Good boy, Barry.
I do know that Rand Fishkin told on someone, got them in trouble.
Really?
Oh, he's such a little snitch.
Yeah.
Now, after this Theranos thing, can we report him to the SEC? They've got some time on their hands. We don't really think he's that bad. He just wasn't as good as the new lady at running the company. This Sarah Bird lady seems to have considerably improved their profit margins. She's apparently worth 10 million a year more than Rand. Well, actually, -5 to 11. She's worth 15 million a year more than Rand.
Well, we were talking about the other night. To me, she's just like the typical consultant. She's coming in, she's going to make a lot of money. She cut all their spending, so now it looks like they're profitable. But they cut marketing, they cut hiring, they just cut all this shit. And now all of a sudden, we have a surplus of millions of dollars. But now we're not even advertising, so it's like, okay, it's like I don't know what's going to happen with them, but.
Oh, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? I mean Ahrefs did them a massive favor with this bullshit DR upgrade. I mean, everyone's using DA
have no
again.
idea what they've done to themselves.
Well, everyone's using Majestic and DA now, and they're still changing it. Like, yeah. I had a client reported, and a week later he's like, all these DRs are wrong. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they've all gone up like 4 points.
Yeah,
it's just like.
No, they keep changing it, and I know they're doing manual adjustments now too, because I think they know they got their back up against the wall, and people are pissed because their DR is fucked up. Not that most educated people know it doesn't really matter, but like, yeah, my DR should be like 63 instead of 29, and then Tim Sulu will look at it and be like, oh, how does 41 sound? We kind of meet you in the middle, And there's so many sites, even in our dashboard for our personal sites, that nothing correlates with anything anymore. The whole idea with DR was just the pure amount of referring domains you have, or the number of backlinks, the total number of backlinks. You can have
Well,
multiple back.
it was based on their quality, so it was a weighted. It
No,
was kind of a
Tim
weighted.
has made it very, 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 very clear. Quality has nothing to do with DR.
No, not quality in terms of spam. Quality in terms of the authority of the domain listing to. He says that quite clearly in his. When he gives you the buckets, he says, "Don't come and complain to me if I've said DR40 is on average 100,000 backlinks, and you've got 400,000, and you've got a DR30. If all of yours are lower DR, then you'll have a lower DR." So yeah, it's not a spam score like Moz's spam score. It's just a pure weighted average authority of the people linking to you, times by the raw number.
But that average authority is still just the number of links.
Oh yeah, I mean if you have,
it's all just purely the number of links, because the other site got a really high DR because they had more links, so now they're higher because they're linking to you because they had more links. It's just like a logarithmic.
Yeah, well, that's how it's supposed to work, and that's how DA works, and that's how citation flow works. It's fine that they work that way. It's just not fine that they keep dicking with it, and that it's now just. I mean, sites that are at the bottom end are scored way too low, and then you've got sites that are like DA40 and were DR50 before, are now like DR75. I mean, that's just ludicrous. It's not a 75. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. It's become very meaningless. It's like,
well, it's just
there's a middle range where sites are just enormously spread out. Then at the bottom everything's packed together, and at the top everything's packed together. So you think there's this huge difference between sites that on every other scale are really close together.
But what pisses me off the most, I've talked about their arrogance and the way they've handled everything, but thinking about it, that they're going around now manually adjusting DR scores for people that are pissed off. Like, how can I even look at your scoring system to be trustworthy now? When I know that Tim Sulu is never going to give me an adjustment after the way I treated him publicly. But what if I was one of the other advocates of Ahrefs that kisses his ass and just has to send him a PM like, yeah, my shitty affiliate site should be like 3 points higher, and he'll just give it to him to shut him up.
Well, just ask him. Keep asking him for like just ask him for like 4 points, and then when he says no, say, "Give me 3."
Well, it's just insane because
4.1.
It just, to me, with everything being said, the scores don't correlate anymore. It's just everything's a mess. You can't trust it as a metric, which we've said is just really frustrating.
Give him John's site and say, look, I'm trying to sell some links on this site, but it's only DR50 and my buyers want DR55. You can just pop it up for a week for me. It's
yeah, we'll do a rev share, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, rev share.
Stupid.
But yeah, I'm hoping we can just quietly drop DR completely from our links products. It's so irrelevant now when people are buying. We're mainly looking at citation flow and DA anyway, so prefer not to keep giving them money after their incompetence cost us like weeks of work this year. So
yeah, I don't blame you.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think. Do you give a shit about DR anymore? I mean, all these metrics are bullshit anyway. So
John, when's the last time you took John Sherburne, when's the last time you took a look at your website? You should probably take a look. He's saying some stuff in the comments.
Yeah, he's probably DR90 now.
Well, he's also on my server, and he's been a little lippy lately, so you should probably take a look.
I hope he's paying you his $69.
Oh yeah.
It's $69.24 now.
We have now that we're totally out of client SEO for the most part, we have a client that we did some work for a year ago. Yeah, we have on one of our servers. We charge over $600 a year for hosting because it's not worth our time. So it's like, okay, $50 a month. Otherwise, we're not going to fuck with it. And they want to go to GoDaddy.
Good luck.
okay, well, he's like, it's only $8 a month over there. I'm like, yeah, I mean, have fun with it. And he's like, well, can you move the site and everything for me? No, I'll zip it up. I'll zip up the cPanel. You give it to GoDaddy, and
Good luck.
it's like
It's
you tell
it's
me someone
madness.
that's going to give you 24/7 server support for $50 a month. It's like, good luck. And GoDaddy support, you're going to be on there for like 5 hours trying to figure
Oh,
out.
if GoDaddy ever goes down, you will not get a reply. They'll just fix it in their own schedule because they've got too many customers.
Right. Yeah.
The ticket system is going to be overwhelmed. It happened with me a few years ago on. We used to be on HostGator's SEO hosting thing back in the olden days when we used to buy drop domains, and HostGator had a massive outage, and you got a reply from your ticket like 2 days after it was fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing they could do. I mean, you understood because like HostGator is like, I don't know, are they the second biggest or something? I mean, how many customers do they have? I mean, the whole thing goes down and they're suddenly getting 3 tickets from each customer. It's it's kind of
Oh, I'm
crazy.
checking out this this excellent website that was linked up.
Yeah. Anyways, this is something from a few weeks ago I meant to talk about, but over the last few months we have talked about a lot of big Fortune 500 companies are pulling their digital ad spend. I think we mentioned a few months ago Procter and Gamble, hundreds of $1 millions are cutting from digital. Adweek had an article a few weeks ago. A lot of other big spenders are getting really pissed off about, like we were talking about, Harry Crane's job in Mad Men was don't put the Maytag commercial next to, in the 1960s, a show about Russian communism, and they call him the agitator when Maytag is the agitator, or whatever the fuck it was. And a lot of big spenders are starting to get pissed about not just transparency, but the way that their ads are showing up against on YouTube, like that guy that was in Suicide Forest. Obviously, you don't want to be associated with that shit, but the media buyers just don't really give a fuck. And whether you argue they may or may not exactly have that finite control, sometimes even with the best targeted stuff, it's still going to happen. But I guess a lot of advertisers are just generally unhappy. And this article is quoting that $120 billion of media spending is under review between a conglomerate of big business, and they're just upset. And regardless if it's justified or not, you're probably going to see some big spenders pulling their ad spend online. And how that's going to affect the advertising online industry, it's probably be a shakeup, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to, I don't think, affect Alphabet and Facebook's valuations because they're growing so much in developing countries and the market's just so enormous, and they only control 25% of total world ad spend. I think they can get to close to 50 between them. So if this was happening later in the game when they were kind of leveling out a bit more, I mean, there's no question they'll have less growth than they would have had, but is anyone going to notice when they just keep growing?
no.
So I don't think it's going to be a big, and they'll get better with their filtering, they'll get better with their rules and bullshit. I mean, the problem is, like Garrett was talking about Harry Crane's job, that when you run it, when it's a regular TV show, it has a script, and they can leak the script to the ad agencies before, and they can make a decision to pull their ads. The reason online is so uncomfortable is a guy like that who generally does some pretty naff content, but nothing particularly, it's childish and borderline
but you can
offensive
put
if you
ads
haven't
that
got a
fit
sense of
that,
humor.
but then all of a sudden he shows up in the Suicide Forest, and it's like,
exactly.
Oh fuck, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's and if you're if you're, I'm just trying to, there's loads of distasteful things. Well, everything doesn't want to be advertised against that, but I mean, there's some products specifically, if you were a morning after pill, vendor, and you were running your ads against that video, you know, that's kind of a horrific combination. I'm sure maybe the viewers can send us in the most horrific ads they think could have gone against that one, but there's nothing you can do because there's no script in advance. This lunatic just turns up in the suicide forest in Japan. You know, the day before's video, he was throwing Pokemons into people's like bike baskets in the high street, which was kind of stupid, but like it's not like you could predict the next day's topic was going to be filming a dead guy. There's just no, you can't algorithmically predict he's going to do that in any way. So, but if you're going to advertise against the videos, you have to advertise when they're hot, so when they're first shown. So you can't review the video then run your ads because then no one's watching it anymore. So it's a kind of a difficult problem to solve when you've got, and I can see YouTube is trying to push more branded content and more you know, traditional media company provided content and more stuff they control, like their kind of their own series and stuff like that. But they're quite a long way behind, you know, Netflix and Amazon Prime in that game. They got a lot of catch up to do if they wanted YouTube to be a channel where they're showing ads against that kind of stuff. And then, you know, your Amazon Prime doesn't even show you any fucking ads, so you're not going to be like, oh yeah, let me switch to watching ads on this branded content on YouTube and pay and watch ads. It's kind of like, so it's kind of a tough problem to solve. I can't really think what you would do.
Yeah, I don't know. Shit's fucked. I don't know. Silly stuff.
Some kind of blockchain thing will probably solve it. Like,
Solves everything, then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blockchain. Yeah.
So if you want to get in on our new ICO, it's called AdTechVid. It's going to be a blockchain-based video review system where reviewers are rewarded with AdBlock Bitcoin. You can buy 1 million of those coins now for just $50,000. You can send it to me. You can send it to me on PokerStars, where it will definitely be invested into developing better technology for this platform, this exciting new platform. Sorry, we've got a research paper which just happens to be word for word identical to all the other ICOs you've seen recently. But we're not all just using the same bullshit research paper. You know, this is the future of the world. It just, you know, happens to be identical for everyone who's doing it. So pony up your 50Ks. I will not blow it all.
Money you'll ever spend.
Best money you'll ever spend. Yeah, you'll buy me into the whole World Championship of Online Poker Series, plus rebuys. Probably play some high stakes horse against Phil Ivey. You know, just some real blockchain related shit. You know.
Yeah. So next was link wheels. This is from a couple weeks ago. And
I know John uses link wheels on his site. He has about 17 wheels, and then he scrubs his K-zone.
This is another
Gotta keep it
example
clean.
of stuff that I love reading the comments on some of Barry's articles, because you know he's just reporting this stuff to get people going about it. And you know, for example, Sachin Khanna. I have recently ranked my blog with just 12 Web 2.0 links. My money site has 5,000 words article, but I treated those Web 2.0 as my money site and use original content and rank them for some keywords. By doing this, it provides a great power to my money site. I don't blast them with Scrapebox or using other software. I build about 60 to 7 forum backlinks for each Web 2.0. Just seems like a lot of fucking work. Like, how much time does it take to do that? Because I doubt he has this automated properly. I have a feeling he does this by hand. I
spoke to a guy who, I can't remember what niche he was even in. It's probably not fair for me to say, even if I did remember, but I genuinely don't. But they have what he described as a PBN, and I just asked him over a beer, so what does it look like? And he goes, well, we build up. We've spent like $3 million building up full media sites in each of these niches to link back to our money site. It's like, that's not really a PBN. I don't think even Google would object to. We've built some leading brands in the we've built some leading brands in the space.
That's an argument that I see a lot of people making now is these, I don't want to call them big publishers, these medium-sized publishers. You know, the site's probably worth $1.5 million or something like that. they're large. They're a large site, and generally to be that size, unless you're an idiot and just threw $1.5 million away, has to be a good site. It has to have good information, has to have actual legitimate organic traffic and all that. But what they do is they'll build up these $1.5 million sites and then just start building a huge PBN. They'll make one big portfolio or one big site to edit the portfolio, and then in the footer, part of this publishing network. And then the next site, another $1 million site, part of this network. So it's kind of like what the girl magazines or the boy magazines do, like Teen Weekly and legitimate magazines, but because they're so big as a brand, they just
But even the huge brands do that. I mean, the New York Times, don't they do that with their branded sites? They link back to the New York Times and stuff.
I think Lending Tree still does this as well. I'd have to check though. They were doing it a few years ago at the very, very latest. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they link to. Depositaccounts.com, compare cards, magnify money, simple tuition.
And of course, real estate networks do it. They link to, Bill's Real Estate London, Bill's Real Estate New York, and they link to all of their international affiliates and regional affiliates. They all link back to the mothership. It's like a glorious worldwide.
I found a good comment. DC do, I don't know, decade do hurtin'. LOL at link wheels. You mean the internet in quotation marks? Yeah, that still works. I use it on a daily basis. Pretty sure the whole goal of the internet, is to create new content and link to it. I'm going to disagree with that. Just don't be spammy and don't create junk. Well, that sounds like the definition of being spammy. If it's for the user, it's going to get the user traffic. Well, no, the whole point of the internet is to share good information, right? That's like the idealistic goal, not just necessarily link to it, just to have a link.
Oh, dude, look who commented right underneath that. The great Michael Martinez.
A link wheel is basically the idea of creating a pattern of links which flow from one website to another, which would finally link to your main website. No caps for emphasis. A link wheel consists of a group of websites that all link to each other one-to-one, or left to right, figuratively speaking. Now I'm really confused. And they all link to a central or hub site. Oh, so it's like a wheel, and everything on the rim links to each other, and then they all link to the money site in the middle. Okay. The purpose. So
it's all about the rim.
So I mean,
yeah, it really is all about the rim.
The purpose of the wheel is to make the central site look the most important. The inbound links are the spokes in the wheel. Okay, so yeah, that analogy makes sense. What I'm confused about is why not just build real links? Because then you still have, theoretically, a link wheel, because your money site's still in the center, and then you have legitimate websites linking to you on the rim.
Well, I mean, I think what people forget is that the way PageRank works, if you put the good content on your own site, which is the whole point of content siloing and stuff, you don't need to make, like, say you do, I don't know, just Viagra, because I'm being really boring and can't think of any other examples. There's no point in having, best Cialis now as a separate site that links to your main Viagra site, and best. You would just have a really good section on the different drugs, and they're all on the same site, and those internal links pass authority around. So your external links should really be something from genuine third parties that add value that you couldn't have got yourself. If you can just put a site up that has no real links and link to yourself, it's no better than putting a page up on your site that has no links and linking to yourself. Mm-hmm. But in the long run, you're thinning down the amount of stuff especially if you're doing what that guy was doing in the question and treating it like his money site and writing these really good articles and putting them on some other domain. It's insane.
The only way I can see this working is if you're spinning content really, you have to be doing everything so cheap, because otherwise, like you said, you've already spent this time and money doing it right. Why wouldn't you just put it on your good site and do it right?
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. I always think with all these spam things, like even PBNs, like you talk to people about what they do to make them. I've been in an insider in a couple of Black Hat groups that I paid to join just to see what they were talking about. And like some of the instruction sets, I was just like, Jesus Christ! By the time I read this, I could have built 10 links, let alone.
That's the thing. It just seems like so much work that a lot of these people do it. It just seems like you're working way harder to like cheat the system than it would have been just to like put in an 8-hour day and learn something that'll treat you well for 5 years.
And it's not fire and forget. Like you build this network. So say you have 1,000 domain PBM to maintain your money site. Obviously, some of them are getting caught all the time by Google, so you have to replace them. So there's the replacement cost is much higher. The natural links, the attrition rate's about 3% per annum. So if you build, so you're going to lose like 30 a year if you have 1,000 real links.
Mm-hmm.
Your PBN might lose 250 a year to Google devaluing them. You might not know which one's been devalued, but you're just going to lose authority in big chunks every year as Google catches some. And sometimes 100%. But, being generous to the people that are doing it well, they probably have a pretty low attrition, but certainly not 3%. So, but on top of that, so you don't know which ones to even cancel, but you've now got to add 100 more domains every year to keep growing the site. So your hosting bill, your administrative overhead, all of that just keeps going up. And at the same time, you're losing value faster than if you just got the real links. Whereas if you just do outreach and PR and get proper coverage, once it's up.
Skype crashed. We'll be back with the boys in just a minute here.
Yeah.
You
need 1,000.
Skype crashed for a second there. We're back. I had to reboot it.
Are we back live?
Yep. I stayed live. I had to restart Skype. So.
Oh, cool.
I'm amazed that people still talk about these Web 2.0s. I mean, you see it discussed a lot on these Black Hat forums. I have never once looked at a website that was making real money and seen that site was being propped up by like a shitload of Web 2.0s.
I know some guys that throw them in for diversity. So they'll have, they'll do like 20 and then they'll do like 50 forums. They'll register themselves for the obvious directories. Because it just kind of gets your anchor text ratios and your link profile a bit more varied, and then they'll start just doing whatever they would have done normally, like outreach or. But I don't know, like you say, anyone who just does that initial stuff, and that's all they do and makes money anymore.
Yeah, I've never.
I mean, I don't know if the people who do that stuff at the beginning, it's really necessary. Like, if it gives them a long-term boost, I think it might give them like some kind of short-term indexing benefits and stuff on their new articles, so they feel better in the first 6 months when not much is happening otherwise. But 2 years in, is it giving them more than 1%? And did they just waste 50 hours doing all that stuff? I don't know. It's probably pretty close.
Yeah, I would guess it doesn't do a ton.
So we got a pretty fun one next. We've got the days since a cryptocurrency exchange has lost more than 100 million. I think it was on 3 when I pasted this link, but we've missed a couple of shows due to travel and stuff. So it's now on 32. It's been a full 32 days since a cryptocurrency exchange lost $0.1 billion. I mean, that's a pretty good record. I mean, so if you want to get in on our new exchange, which is called secureexchange.com, I have no experience coding exchanges or secure financial transactions, but I just thought, this crypto thing's where it's at. So I wrote a quick exchange, and you can trust me with my money now, your money now. Like the last one that went down, it was, the person who wrote it all in one of these new JavaScript frameworks, and they didn't have a server-side check that you actually had the money in your wallet to withdraw it. So you could just hack the JavaScript code and withdraw arbitrary amounts of money from your account that your account didn't have.
Wow. And you mean that's not how it's supposed to work?
Yeah, I mean that's totally how JavaScript front end coding's meant to work. Yeah, just access, just arbitrary ability to execute code on the database with no checks server side is exactly how you're supposed to code front end. I mean, just today on PayPal, I sent myself $757 million because PayPal just lets you do it. I mean, it's just insane. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, that's where 100 million went last. I mean, it's just totally crazy. Most of the people coding these have got no experience in the financial services sector, and even the ones that do, you're talking about teams of 3 people trying to code something that's going to be, at the end of the day, as complex as PayPal. And I imagine, and PayPal has had some things over the years. I mean, banks do all the time. I mean, Citigroup's problems were the most famous back in the earlier days of the internet. They had some pretty huge. Although I guess in the scheme of things these days, where billions are going missing in cryptocurrency, Citigroup, they lost mere pennies. So, but at the time, it seemed like a lot of money to the financial news markets. So even big banks have problems, but they've got, they hire security researchers to hack their systems. They have teams of like 100 coders, 200 coders. Even if you had experience, 3 of you aren't going to be able to build an exchange that can handle billions of dollars a month in transactions safely without all that other stuff. So yeah, I'm skeptical of all the exchanges, which is why my cryptocurrency investing is all in the form of buying crypto exposed stocks, preferably in a regulated market.
Don't you just love the unknown? It's like, it's just gambling. You never know.
Well, you didn't keep the faith. You spent your Bitcoin on beer when it was like 20 cents or something.
Oh,
you have no faith in America.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you, man?
Did I tell you the story, Gordon?
No, you didn't.
So, Bitcoin became a thing in 2009 or so, and I was a stout believer that this is fucking awesome. So I was 19, bought $100 worth of Bitcoin at, less than a penny a coin, which would have been a lot of fucking money today, obviously. But less than a month later, I really needed $100 for beer. So I sold it and never bought again.
And now
That's the way it goes.
now he's sitting around pounding down like $150 bottles of whiskey like they're nothing, and wishes he really hadn't been that desperate for some cheap beer.
Could have retired.
Could have retired.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, I never would have even met you. You'd just been some rich dude with a private jet that I'd never heard
Well,
of.
you probably would have still met me because I would have had to hold it until just up to a few years ago before it was really worth anything.
That's true.
You have bought that island if you had made this investment?
Yeah, we're trying to get Uncle Bill to buy us an island.
Buy us an island, Bill. I really need an island. It's this one I live on is a little bit too crap compared with Richard Branson's island. I'm pretty jealous.
Oh, he has his own island now?
Yeah, it's in the Caribbean. He all of his liberal values are fully demonstrated by the way he treats the indigenous people that he has worked.
Yep. It's all good and dandy until it applies to him. And then he's like, "No, fuck this. This doesn't make sense for a
Well, yeah,
man
he
of
was
my status."
outraged. He was outraged apparently, and I say allegedly because this documentary was very one-sided against him, and I'm sure contained many mistruths that unfairly represented him. But it seemed like the island's management were outraged that the women who worked for them needed to take their children to school. And the island's laundry needed to be done at 4 a.m. or something. It just the schedules just didn't line up right.
How dare he want that stuff?
Yeah, so yeah, it seems like typical billionaire do-gooder doing very good for himself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But they banned a right-wing newspaper from his trains. Make the stand where it counts, right?
Yeah, ban the newspaper. All right, yeah, okay. Anyways, I'll let Steve do an intro on the main topic tonight, talking about conferences, because We've been to a handful of conferences in the last 18 months, and I think each new one we go to, we get more disappointed with. And it's become blatantly obvious that these conferences have no real value. It's just for the conference organizers to make a fuck ton of money. I'll leave it at that.
That's true. I mean, so what's been interesting to me for a while, and Garrett knows, and we kind of touched on the scams last week, but we got too into the SEO, and we didn't want to out anyone specifically in the SEO world because it just gets too personal because we know some of the people. And we didn't have enough good examples or things to discuss in the broader world. But a while ago, I was looking into the kind of the rings of people that promote these information products and how they sell them. And if you think back to the kind of stuff that used to be in The Simpsons and all these kind of comedy shows, probably almost a generation ago, but certainly half a generation ago, where people would be conned into these products. They'd go along to a real estate seminar in their town, and there'd be like 30 people there.
Cash money, Brett.
yeah. Cash money, Brett. Hi, Cash Money. Sorry we rip on you so much, but man. Anyway,
it's out of love.
It's out of love. Yeah, you'll see the light one day, and so on. But yeah, so that you'd go along, and but all 5 presentations, the presenter would just have a product. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't get to learn anything unless you bought the product. And they would split it, so the presenter would keep half the sales and the seminar organizer would keep half the sales. And I was at a fairly big SEO conference recently, and I was speaking to one of the speakers, and they were like, well, yeah, half the speaker slots here are paid. They're here to sell something. Mm-hmm. They've paid for their slot to the conference organizers, and I was like, interesting. So even in a relatively cheap conference where the audience is pretty savvy to online scams, you've got that going on. So I tried doing some more digging. I couldn't find any really good examples of massive amounts of money. And then this little beauty from Russell Brunson came up on YouTube. Now, I'm definitely not accusing him of being a scammer because he tells you exactly what he's going to do. Yeah. He's even written a book about how he's going to get money out of you, and has done 47 YouTube videos telling his followers, "This is how I get money out of you."
And yet they keep giving it to him.
Yeah, so I mean, to accuse him of being a scammer would be ludicrous. He
is so good at manipulating people. He can be totally honest about just stealing their money.
Yeah, it's like, but what shocked me was that 10xCon, which is run by Grant Cardone, allowed him to put this video out, because it's like how I made $3 million in sales in an hour and a half at the conference. And it's basically around how so this conference is pretty expensive, as you'd imagine, from something run by Grant Cardone. And it was supposed to be about, how to 10x your business. And I don't doubt some of the speakers gave some value as part of their sales pitch. But Russell pretty much walks you through the aggressive grift that you've paid to take part of, and how you'll be sold to in a overhyped selling environment, much like the old seminars were. Everyone gets excited together. They're ready to go. You go along to the, and I'm definitely not comparing them with being as bad as those MLM schemes, but you go along to the MLM thing, and suddenly everyone's jerking off in the toilets over orange juice because it's the most exciting thing they've ever seen. It's exactly the same thing. Like you get that environment going. I remember there was the reporter from the New York Times who was I forget the full story because we studied history when I was at school, but he was of Jewish descent, and he said for some reason he clapped and cheered during the Nuremberg rally when he was there to report on it, just because the atmosphere, you felt almost brainwashed by all the other people. And that's kind of the whole game at these conferences, is to sell you on the idea that you're going to 10x your business, you're going to learn something, you're going to be motivated. But when you get there, it's to get you hyped up. Each speaker hypes you up, sells you something.
Do you think that whole process is exponentially amplified because, a lot of these people just genuinely think, like, just take a general marketing conference that you pay $1,000 to go to. The average attendee is actually going to be learning something, whether that's good or bad. they're learning something from these really mediocre speakers. So they're pumped. And now imagine going into something like this from Brunson and Cardone, where they're probably still that same level idiot. I'm sorry if you're in that group, but you're probably an idiot. And now all of a sudden you're around like 5,000 people that have just spent a lot of money and they are dead on thinking they're going to learn something. But do you think it amplifies even more in this kind of setting?
Because they feel like they learn a few tips,
Yeah.
and they're marks because they've bought a ticket to the conference.
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of conference is clearly not what you need. Like, if you're trying to learn a specific skill, you need to identify what marketing challenges your business faces and target those channels. So for us, we weren't, our brand wasn't well known enough on social and forum. So we spent some time learning about how you go about marketing better on forums. We didn't want to be like dropping links, so we wanted to learn how to do it within our real name, how forum advertising works, what some of the biggest selling things on some of the old forums were, like Wicked Fire, Black Hat World. We looked at everything that was successful before and how we would obviously do that in a clean and effective way. So we found one of the challenges that we had and we solved that individual problem, and you move on to the next thing. That's how kind of developing a strategy works. These kind of things are like, oh, you're just going to come along and you're going to watch a mishmash of random presentations, buy 5 more expensive products, and you're going to go away and you don't even know what your business needs at that point. You need to have a plan before you even. So I totally get someone who wants to learn Facebook advertising and they haven't got time to read anything and they want to go along to a one-day, proper training session with a Facebook trainer or something. That makes sense to me. Just going along to a generic conference to learn to make magic, you're a mark if you go to that conference. And I'm sorry if you've spent a lot of. I mean, we know a guy who spent $50,000 on these things, and he's made under a worse than a minus 90% ROI so far. But I mean, like I've seen a few clips from Russell's presentation there. And what I'll say is if it was all new information that he hadn't shared for free or for very cheap elsewhere, you could learn something from it if you'd never heard any of it before. So it's not that these speakers are totally ripping you off. They are giving you some information if you haven't read it, but it's all in Russell's book for $7. So I don't understand why people are so lazy. They can't just buy Russell's book and read it. I mean, I've read his book. It's a really good book.
Well, it's just the never-ending revolving door. Like you were saying, 80s and 90s, all these types of seminars, whether they're stock investing seminars, real estate seminars, anything like that. And now it's just a new medium. It's digital marketing. And it's just the same shit. And it's probably always going to be around. There's people always going to be hopeful they can get out of the 9-to-5 grind, and if they spend $5,000, Russell Brunson's going to teach them how to do it, and it's never going to go away, unfortunately.
But he's just as happy to teach you to do it for $7. So
Yeah.
I recommend you take him up on his $7 deal, and because I really liked his book. I mean, it's there's a lot of good stuff in there. If you were gonna figure out funnels and how to sell these kind of information products, sell pharmaceutical products, and not pharmaceuticals, like supplements, the unregulated stuff in the US. If you've got a supplements business or you've got a fitness course or all that kind of stuff that people are trying to sell to add on to, because it's a thing people are doing massively now because affiliate income's not cutting it. So if you have a fitness site, you really want to have a fitness course that you can just sell for $29, and he's going to teach you how to do that stuff really well. If you haven't done it before and you read his book, you'll instead of taking 2 years, that $7 will get you to where you're kind of 7 out of 10 at doing it on your first attempt, which is obviously a good $7 well spent, because you'll read it in a day or whatever. But then these people are spending all this money to go along, and then they buy more. And what really shocked me was, and this is why I'm surprised he was allowed to put the video out, he revealed the revenue share model. 50% of the 3 million goes to the 10X conference organizers company, and the same for all the speakers. And there was an app. You turn up at the conference and there's an app with a list of all the products the speakers are going to sell you that day. Every speaker has a product on the app, and you just click buy and it automatically bills your conference credit card for the I mean, So as soon as you turn up, and if you were someone who had never been to one before, and you thought it was genuine, like you didn't know these people and what their histories were, you turn up and like you go to a Russell Brunson webinar, you know he's going to try and sell you something. But if you'd never heard of any of these people before and you turned up expecting what this hyped up conference was, and then you get the app, and instead of loads of slides and information, it's just a load of buttons for you to spend $50,000 that day, should you wish. Your heart would just sink because you've just wasted that first money that you spent.
Yeah.
It would just, I don't know. It depresses me at 50% of the money. So people are paying to go along and sit and have more of their money taken off them by the conference organizer and go into them. I mean, I think that should be disclosed, that every presentation is a sales presentation. But then I don't suspect many people would buy the tickets. I don't expect many people would buy the tickets. I don't know.
Well, I mean, just about every conference is like that these days, though. Just about, very rarely is a speaker actually asked to come and speak on their own accord. It's usually, okay, people know who you are. If it's SEO industry or marketing in general or whatever, people know who you are, and people are only going to come to our conference if they know who the speakers are. So, can I give you some money? And can we work out a deal? And then you can sell whatever the fuck you want, because I'm happy. I'm going to sell at my conference for 600 tickets, make a couple $100,000. You're going to sell a bunch of shit. Some people are going to learn something, and everybody wins or something. And it's just, it really sucks. I know, especially in the SEO conferences, a lot of these people that are paid to be there, I don't know, everyone I know that actually makes money, they don't have online personas. So it's like, everyone I see talk is just like, okay, maybe you make a little bit of money, but you don't make much. I don't know.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the industry, like I remember Nick Eubank said in a tweet, I think it was, or it might have been a forum post, I forget, that he hadn't been speaking much because he didn't feel like he was, he had time and he was the right personality for it.
But Nick's a legitimate person.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, a lot of the legitimate people don't feel that developing I mean, he's doing it now because it's been so successful for some of his business partners and stuff. So he's getting stuck in, and he was kind enough to make us one of the first places he presented.
One of the few people that have actually grown an SEO agency from nothing to large.
Nothing to picking up regional agencies like their chump change.
Yeah, he's acquiring other SEO agencies, and not a lot of people can say they've done that. Like that's like a top 0.01% of the SEO industry can say they've done that. And
yeah, we need to buy something just so that we can join the elite.
I don't want to be that big. I enjoy having that cash in my pocket and leaving it there.
Well, no, we'll just buy some really small agency.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Who's losing money? Send me an email and I'll make you an offer.
Yeah, we'll buy your agency. We'll take your customers off your hands for $1 Canadian.
Yeah.
I have an agency building Web 2.0 link wheels that you can buy off.
I will send you your.
I'll give you 69 Canadian dollars.
Perfect.
That's funny, but yeah, I mean, it was the exact same model that I uncovered when I was looking at the MLM conferences, and it was really shocking to see it at a big brand marketing conference that's relatively famous like this. The straight up sell the shit out of the customers that have turned up, and I'll keep 50% model, because that's how the MLM kind of hyped up conferences work. Like all this, because they know all the people that have bought into these MLMs are marks. Sorry if you're in an MLM. I doubt anyone who watches this by now is in an MLM. We fucking take the piss out of you boys every week.
Yeah.
But if you are, ha ha ha. But this is the same model. So every speaker is there, and sometimes they pay they're less famous, so they pay big fees to turn up. Like they'll pay the event 20,000 to turn up, but they'll walk away with 300,000 in sales for whatever bullshit they're selling. And because these people are desperate. If you're turning up there selling, here's how you use Facebook retargeting to boost your new signups list for orange juice before your stock goes out of date. Here's my course for $1,000, and you've got like $50,000 worth of orange juice in your garage that's about to go off. You're like, oh fuck! I mean, it's worth the risk. I'm screwed either way. I'll just give this guy $1,000 and see if it works. And then the next speaker comes on and goes, oh yeah, what you need to do is a postcard drop on car parks. I'm going to teach you how to get a kid to do it for you for free, and how and you buy the elite postcard drop training manual, and then it just goes. Then the next speaker comes on, and it's another thing, and before you know it, you're 55 grand in the hole instead of the 50 you started the day out, and you're still none the further forward with, because MLM doesn't work. So good luck with it. But they know your marks because you're there. So
everywhere, yeah, it's depressing.
It really is. It really is. I mean, I've heard someone say the actual sentence, if I could just join the inner circle, I'll be a millionaire in a year.
Just spend another $25,000 to get you close to that $1 million goal. Let's just keep backpedaling and not do the work.
Hey, that's called an investment. Okay?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, an investment on your tax write-offs, because there's no way you're making profit on that.
I mean, I've seen cases where people have got close to those kind of mentors and joined the inner circle, but where they're already rich people. They just need something fixing in their business and they haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
If you're looking at like a 1% gain or make you an extra 400,000 a year, 25,000 little gamble to see if this expert that you really like and maybe you've been following their content for a while, that doesn't seem too stupid to me. But if you've never achieved anything in your life,
right,
relatively, obviously you've achieved things.
If you use SEO as an example, there is enough free information just on the internet. There is no reason you should ever have to pay for a course, and you can start up your own money site and do all the work yourself. It's probably going to take a while, 2 hours every day after work, 3 hours, how many hours you can do every night. You can go and make a profitable money site on your own and pay nothing to learn everything. And you're going to be miles ahead. You're going to be in like the top 5% of SEOs in the world. And then it's like, okay, maybe you invest in working with somebody, or just keep, I think I've said this before, if you're the one that's constantly buying new training and constantly paying attention to these gurus, and this translates into marketing as a whole, you're always going to be so far behind the curve. Because by the time I give away a tip, it's already years old. And these people that you're paying money to every month, this is shit they were doing 5 years ago and they know it doesn't work. They're never giving you the freshest information. I mean, people are talking about fucking link wheels in 2018. Like, give me a fucking break. This is shit that no one does anymore. Argumentatively, does it work? Maybe.
As soon as you realize your PBNs aren't working anymore, that's when you launch your how to build a PBN course.
Yeah. Which seems to be the fad lately. What a surprise!
Oh, there's loads of those courses out there now.
I'm not saying this stuff doesn't work either. It's like 99% of people just don't know how to do it properly, so they all get caught. And the people that do it really, really well, it just jives with their mind, and it makes sense for them to do it. But I think for most people, learn how to do it the quote-unquote right way, and just do it and put the time in, and you're going to do a lot better.
Yeah, and people forget there's other channels to make money online. Like if you just don't get how to build, an authority site that people are going to want to read organically, you don't know how to do outreach, don't want to learn that stuff. It's just not your thing. And you love numbers, maths, and advertising. You want to be doing paid.
Yeah,
like all the lovely folks. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know that we don't talk about paid traffic a lot, but that's just because it's not something I don't want to use the phrase good at, but it's just not something we do. And it's not that, if you can make it work, and lots of people obviously do, paid traffic is awesome. It's just not something I've ever delved into, or Steve's delved into, I guess, if he doesn't mind
Yeah.
saying it. It's just we're really good at what we do, so that's what we do. Figure out what you're really good at and do that.
If you can't get the traffic that way, you don't want to resort to Web 2.0. It's not a bullshit you don't understand either.
Yeah.
Look at something else, all the lovely chaps that and very, very few ladies. If you think SEO conferences are one-sided, Jesus, LeadsCon, they basically couldn't get a woman to turn up. I think there's like 12 for the whole conference.
Oh, you managed to hook one of the few there. So give yourself credit.
Your party, yeah.
Talking of people who can't
and
take
she
an obvious
didn't even do online marketing. She was in charge of their offline marketing for festivals.
Yeah. Talking of people who couldn't take an obvious signal to leave me alone.
Well,
it must be.
To be fair, she approached me first and left me alone very quickly. There was something about you.
Yeah. Well, we escaped luckily. So, I guess even in an environment where it's 97% men, what am I going to do? The choice was clear for the few women there. They had to come and annoy me, but yeah, they were all going on about scrubbing their quants and managing their T-zone or whatever, and
oh god, that stuff again.
All that kind of stuff.
It's so hard not to rip people off with fake leads,
seriously. Yeah. So okay, Steve and I are delving into the realm of lead generation, and John can comment on it after this if he chooses. But we got to our hotel Sunday night in Vegas, and some guy asked to use my lighter to light a cigarette, and he asked me about scrub rate and shit like that. And I'm like, okay, I have no idea what this is. I'm like, I don't know, man. The client, we don't, we're fulfillment. We don't deal with any of that. So I asked some people, and they're pretty okay. So I asked John. He's like, yeah, so scrub rates, how many leads don't actually become realized? And my answer, maybe it's naive. I don't think I'm being naive, but it's like the leads that we sell, I think we have an extremely low, like 0% scrub rate, because I'm not interested in ripping off the people that are paying money for my leads, and I would rather get paid more per lead.
I think 2% of our mortgage leads last year were rejected by the platform,
and
that was just for things like the guy hadn't typed the phone number in properly, like he'd put
so
it
was probably legit. Yeah. So it's like
you should never have to worry about these things. You have to worry about your scrub rate. You are a scammer and you're ripping people off.
Yeah, and it just makes it so hard for people, because now I'm a little out of my comfort zone. It's like, not that it's like uncomfortable. It's just like, okay, like what the fuck? I'm trying to sell leads, and now everyone's probably getting paid less, obviously, because the lead buyer is getting fucked so often. And it's like, are people really doing this that much? And it's like, okay, apparently. So then it's like, okay, fuck me for being a nice person.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, to be honest. I don't really. I guess we see it in the SEO world, so it's not surprising we're seeing it in the lead generation world. The one thing that shocked me was us SEOs are terrible at coming up with new ideas for random SaaSes that don't do anything, whereas these leads guys, man, I'm sorry to keep saying guys, but it really was just 100% dude fest this conference.
Yeah,
the SEO world's actually doing a really good job about being inclusive, which, considering we get a bad rep for it sometimes, and some of our industry leaders think we're doing a terrible job. I think we're actually doing a really good job.
Everyone at the booths had very attractive women working the booths.
Yeah, they had the opposite.
You can't say that's not chauvinistic.
Yeah. Were they scrubbing quant rates or whatever?
I think we're damaging the wholesome message I was trying to put forward about the SEO industry through your jokes, John. But no, I think SEO conferences do a better job because they've kind of banned booth girls mostly, which are just an annoying distraction, because you don't want to you go up to a booth to talk to someone about their software. You don't want to have someone who doesn't have a clue about the software, If you want to talk to girls in Vegas, you can probably find somewhere to do that without it being at the SEO conference. It's just kind of stupid. And then, the actual, the list of people coming is a lot more diverse in the SEO world. It was kind of shocking to go to a conference where it was literally just kind of, and we were way too young. I mean, it was literally like 45 plus white dudes. I was like, geez, it's rare for me to go to a place and feel young these days. But
You want to hear?
so I'm going to buy a LeadsCon ticket every year just to feel young for 5 minutes.
Interesting story about a lead. I was a lead to Exact Data like 4 or 5 years ago. I needed to buy 4 years ago. I wanted to buy a list of addresses because Minnesota has a lot of lakes, and a lot of people live on lakes. And me and a buddy had an idea to target lakeshore owners that have a house on the lake, and that's it. And the best we can come up with is like, well, we can buy the data for people that live in the town that has a lake, but then we're hitting, I only want to hit 200 people that live on the lake versus like 10,000. And I told the Exact Data guy 4 years ago, okay, this is not what I need. Just don't call me again. And maybe if something changes, do let me know. But until then, do not fucking call me. He never called me again. But every 6 months, they must hire a new account executive who will call me and say, hey, this is Marcia. 4 months later, hey, this is John. 4 months later, hey, this is Steve. And this goes on actually more than like every month. And this has been going on for 4 years. And the distance that lead has had to travel and gone through so many hands over the last 4 years. I don't answer the call anymore, but it's it's probably been at least 60 different account managers that have gone through me as an internal lead, a self-generated lead that's straight off their website that was told, do not contact me unless you have what you need because you're not going to get a sale. It's like, how do you treat your internal employees like that, knowing they're not going to get a sale out of this because it's just like you don't have what I need. It's not like, oh, it's too expensive or, we need to work on price. You just don't have what I need. And it's like, it just mind-boggling.
My favorite takeaway from LeadsCon was that everyone calls pay-per-click advertising arbitrage quant marketing now. Now, obviously, quant marketing is a real thing, so I don't want to disparage anyone who does real, deep, big data market analysis and stuff. All 11 of you out there in the real world doing that for big marketing agencies and doing a good job. I salute you because I'm not an expert in big data, and I will rewatch Paul Shapiro's SEO automation video about 57 times, I think, before I fully absorb everything he talked about. But yeah, it just kind of like, wow, this is like old done new again. Like everyone was doing buy Ask Jeeves traffic and see if you could get better AdWords click profit out of it and all that kind of stuff. And that's all these lead guys, a lot of them are doing is you're just driving Facebook traffic to a landing page and trying to sell it to someone for a price that's less than what they can manage themselves to their Facebook traffic, so they're happy to pay for the lead. Like if their own team's getting a cost per lead of like 80 and you're selling leads at 50, you're going to still make money out of the arbitrage between paying the ads to Facebook. But it's a game that's just been around forever. It was just called, advertising arbitrage. You pay the advertiser less than you expect to sell it for to someone who's less good at managing the advertising than you, or someone that offers a higher price for the same lead or click. Because you can even do it in terms of buying leads. Like if you're able to sell to specific local businesses better than the big leads platform, and this happens in the mortgage world like years ago. So people would buy the online leads from LeadBay, call them up, and book them as appointments for the actual mortgage advisors and charge 8 times the price. But all they needed was a couple of call center reps that were paid a flat £10 an appointment as freelance contractors. So they were buying leads at £4 to £12 each, phoning up hundreds of them, booking the appointments and making 40-50% margin. So there's been loads of these arbitrage opportunities to resell other people's leads, datas, clicks forever. But now it's called quant marketing. So if you want to make money out of it, don't say that you do lead arbitrage anymore. You do quant marketing, and you'll go a long way as long as you manage your scrub rate and whatever other buzzwords you're meant to, lowest scrubs in the industry, guys, from our quants.
Well, Garrett and I were talking about this, and a lot of these PPC and I guess now Facebook ad management softwares, they're just such a total scam, and they use They use all these huge words like data science, and I'm not going to name names because I know people that have built this kind of stuff, but I don't know what the hell this software actually does. Like, it doesn't seem like it does very much at all. And I know of more than a few cases where somebody had a profitable PPC campaign going. They start using one of these softwares, and it's like you do one thing wrong, and all of a sudden you go from like a 25% margin to like a negative 15%.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the Facebook Power Editor. I mean, I think they've done a really good job
Powerful
of that.
Already. Yeah.
And they've got an API. Like, if you really need some weird feature or some weird data analysis, they've got an API that you can use. I mean,
well, that's the whole point of like the software I was paying to use. They're hooked in through the API. It seemed at the time, okay, if we're going to take a serious jump into this, it's going to save me time for a relatively low amount of money instead of coding up all my own shit. Obviously, it was a huge mistake on my part, but it's like I was also lied to about the functionality of the software. The account manager I had couldn't use the software, so if I needed help, I'd have to put a support ticket in. And then that would be 2 days, but it's like, okay, I needed this ad to be running for a client 2 days ago, and it's your fault it's not running, so now I'm losing even more money, and it's like, why am I paying you anything for this? And now, I'm not going to go into it, but it's like, it's fucked. I don't see why I should have to. And it's like, do I get a lawyer involved over a $4,500 bill or whatever I owe them? Because that's going to cost just as much. And it's like, put it into collections. I'll fucking got the mortgage. I almost have the mortgage on my house, so I'll keep them happy for another month. But it's like, put it into collections. Fuck it. I'll pay you $20 a month for the rest of my life, and you can just fuck off.
oh man, I mean that kind of stuff annoys me. And we've spoken about this, and I think it's the biggest con in the software game. Is you provide software that you know is deficient to the needs of your end user. And I mean, I've raged on some of the big providers because of their heavy-handed sales strategies, but I really don't like the way HubSpot sell. I'm not saying they're a fraud. I'm not saying they're a fraud. I just really don't like the way they sell. I don't like the way the Yellow Pages companies sell their marketing packages. I don't like, this is the whole swathe of the industry I don't like, because they know that they're aggressively selling to people who aren't necessarily going to get the ROI, and they haven't, because they're spending. If you look at their books, you can look at a lot of these companies' books and see them spending 75% of their revenue on sales and marketing. So 3/4 of what you pay them goes on them bullying other people to sign up and join their tool instead of supporting you and providing you with a better tool. It should be more like 25%. So I mean, that's a clear case of a product that doesn't fit the market when it's reached maturity. Obviously, a startup, you can spend 400 times what you make in profit on growing the company, because that's the point of a startup. But when you've reached a relative state of maturity and the growth is leveling off, and you still haven't got control over where you can actually spend the money on supporting your customers, it doesn't bode well for there being a good product market fit there, in my opinion. And a lot of businesses get locked into these contracts and they can't get out, so they just have to pay it for the year.
Yeah.
Or spend some more money. Get a consultant in to help you. One of our approved consultants.
I was
also where the money.
I was also offered to purchase more, not consulting time, but off the clock, personalized customer training. I don't remember how much that was an hour, but it's like, and like, okay, I can use your software, it just doesn't work. And I remember this one time, I had my account manager, and she had to bring in a senior account manager because, okay, like they have an FAQ section and they have a bunch of videos. Like, you can pretty much learn to use the software just from all the videos, which is cool. I like that because I don't want to talk to people because I'm fucking weird. But for whatever reason, that was down one day. And that's what caused me like a week delay. It wasn't just down for a day, it was down for a week. So they pulled in this senior account manager who was like, oh, yeah, she's like, oh, yeah, sometimes we just have issues, just like you own a business, and you know how it goes. And I'm like, yeah, but
we don't go down for a week.
Yeah, I'm like,
I run an actual business.
You're a publicly traded company. And this is what you're going to say? You know how it goes. I'm like, well, no, because my clients would be ripping my ass apart and I'd probably be dead. It's like, you can God, it's just like, why is this so funny to you? Because I don't spend any money with you? Is that why it's funny?
I
You
mean,
take it.
just to be fair to HubSpot, I'll talk about one of their competitors too. So we had talks with them, and again, very very slick sales process, loads of time spent talking to you as an agency to try and onboard you. I believe they were called something Spring. Was it Sharp Spring? Is that the HubSpot competitor that does the
Yeah,
same?
yeah.
Um, and then so then it gets to when we actually going to sign up, and they've told us the monthly to get licenses to resell to our clients and stuff like that. And it was pretty reasonable. It was a lot cheaper than the competition generally, Infusionsoft and all the others like HubSpot. So I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds reasonable. Then he's like, oh yeah, we have a mandatory onboarding and training fee of I can't remember what it was now. It was a couple of $1,000 or something per member of staff or something that was going to get a license to use the system at the company. I was like, well, we don't need that. We're marketing automation experts. I know how. We've done custom deploys for clients of Mautic, the open source one, and set everything up from scratch. We don't require any training. So I'll pay you your monthly fee, but I'm not paying you a whole load of training because I don't need any training and I don't wish to waste my time going through it. And that was the end. That was the end of that. It's just like, and it's just going to be some junior rep there and some training videos. I'm not paying a couple of $1,000 for that nonsense. It's like, and because they're only selling through agencies, that the end customer is being resold that at more like market rates, so the same as Infusionsoft, HubSpot, and all the others. So all of them get so expensive by the time people use them. When what they really need is they need an open source installation of Mautic, a WordPress blog, or another popular CMS, and a freelancer who can train them and get their business set up in probably under 100 hours of billable hours, and then they'll pay for hosting until they make some major change to their process. It's I don't think the long term is good for a lot of these businesses, because it's like if you were selling like some super premium CMS. I mean, how many people are on Microsoft's like SharePoint and stuff now? Way less than in the past. I mean, that must be is that even a line item on Microsoft's annual reports anymore? SharePoint licenses? I don't have thought so. It's all cloud and Office 365 and stuff that's mass market and really big. Because WordPress killed it, and I think there's a real danger that tracking people's movements through your site across a few different channels and sending them appropriate messages is not that hard to solve. It's harder to solve than WordPress was. Like, show pages from a database is kind of, there's a million solutions to that. You could write a non-insane version yourself in a couple of weeks, probably. It wouldn't be as good as WordPress or any of the others, but you know what I mean. Yeah. But I think the future for a business that relies on selling something at an enormous price that doesn't solve an enormous problem, except for the very biggest businesses, of which there are very few, doesn't have the opportunity to become massively profitable if it's struggling after years of enormous growth with that aggressive strategy, because the churn rate is just going to be too high, and the price pressure downwards is just going to be continuous.
Yeah.
It would be like if Office 365 had to be sold for $4,000 a year per license to be profitable, because people didn't really want Office, and you had to kind of convince them that it would revolutionize their business if they could just collaborate on documents online a bit better. And that was, so you had a sales reps bullying people into signing up. And at the end of the first year, they all realized that, this is kind of okay, but, Google Docs will do. Your churn rate's just going to be enormous. But at, whatever Microsoft actually charges, which is like $10 a license or something, it's like, yeah, fuck it,
Yeah.
May as well have a license. It's better than Google Docs. So, yeah, that to me is the biggest... I hate calling it a scam, because it's not a scam, because these are businesses choosing to sign up to something. It's the biggest example of pressure sales and bullshit in the B2B SaaS sector, is that kind of the long contract bullshit software barely works, as Garrett found out. It's so many scams, people. Just don't spend your money, like, unless you're getting a defined thing that you definitely want. Like, we don't sell to our customers. People come to us and they're like, "What do you recommend? What do you think we should do?" I'm like, "No, you've got to be 100% decided. Like, here's our list of products. I can tell you what they are. If you ask me questions about them, I'll give you more information, but I'm not going to recommend what you need for your site. We want people coming to us who know exactly what they want.
If you want consulting, it's $1,000 an hour. Fuck off. So figure out what you want, because I don't want to do it.
We don't get too many people take us up on our $1,000 an hour consulting
but
offer.
I mean, it's just like, it's an honest...
You need to sell harder.
It's an honest thing. Yeah. We don't want to do consulting. So if we're going to get out of bed and do consulting, which we hate doing these days, it's going to cost you a lot of fucking money. So how about you spend an extra day figuring out what you want, and then we'll help you for a much more affordable price.
Yeah.
Does that seem reasonable? Because some people think it's unreasonable.
Well, not very many, to be honest. Everyone usually figures it out once we're like, well, I mean, we do deliberately introduce people to one of our much more expensive competitors who's more than happy to do the consulting.
So if you're an asshole, you're going to get referred away. So if you do get referred away, you know why.
It's amazing. No one wants to pay the higher price from the people that are prepared to take your nonsense. And so it's much easier to just decide what you want and just buy it off the shelf. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm a big believer in that. Just buy things off the shelf that you definitely want. Like, this is the tool, this is the price. Don't get suckered into annual lock-ins, expensive consulting fees, mandatory training, fucking courses, and Jesus, just don't buy any of that stuff. Except my course on ICO Money Master, $57,000.
Make it even $69,000.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah. 57 is the old marketing number. It's all about the 69 now.
Yeah, yes.
Our new links price is $469 a link.
Anyways, let's do our hashtag SEO on Twitter, and then we'll get out of here.
Oh yeah, let's do that quickly. And
we can skip my review.
Well, we did some reviews.
Yeah, that's true. The Honorable Good, do you know what hashtag SEO is?
I do not.
Go on Twitter and just search for hashtag SEO and find some funny stuff. Now we're going to talk about it really briefly.
If Twitter ever loads for me. Here we go.
God, it's just like a lot of the same shit.
Well, there's 90% off LoJacker plus OTOs.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that means. Well, I know the one-time offers are going to be really expensive things that are after you spend the $9 on LoJacker, you're going to get some really good offers to buy some stuff for $100. There's actually an interesting one. It's from SearchCap on Search Engine Land. The EU wants Google to hand over their algorithm. That's going to go well.
Oh, my favorite, Maria Johnson. Managing a successful hashtag SEO business in 2018. Hashtag SEO, hashtag B2B, hashtag business development, hashtag media agency, hashtag digital marketing, hashtag online marketing, hashtag online sales, hashtag small biz, hashtag small business, hashtag entrepreneur, hashtag marketing, hashtag SEO expert.
I feel like I don't use enough hashtags. Like, I use one now and then.
I don't really understand what people are trying to do with this.
Who is this woman? Because I found one of hers too, and it also has...
I have no idea who the fuck she is. The only time
send her a tweet, John, to say, hey, just checking out your hashtags. I've got a big hashtag too.
She's following 5 people, yet she has 197,000 followers.
Wow.
She's an environmentalist.
I'm sure those are all legit.
Yeah. She's a film producer and an author. Yet she's always talking about SEO.
I found a good one.
Go on, John.
All right. Sushama Anana writes, 6 quick steps to start affiliate marketing. Step 1, select the category you wish to promote. Step 2, set up a blog or website. Step 3, select your product. Step 4, pick an affiliate marketing site. about you just set up your site? Step 5 is an affiliate program. Step 6, create and promote your link. Hashtag small business. Hashtag entrepreneur.
We need to
e-commerce.
get together with this guy.
Oh yeah, he sounds like he's.
Oh, he's not done with the hashtags. Let him
Oh,
finish.
sorry.
Oh, there's more. Hashtag small biz. Hashtag social media. Hashtag SMM. Hashtag marketing.
What's
Hashtag
SMM?
growth hacking. Hashtag social media marketing. Hashtag blogging. Hashtag make your own lane. Hashtag digital marketing. Hashtag
I feel like they should go back to 140
hashtag
characters.
tech. Oh my God.
I found a confusing one. This one makes very little sense, but all the hashtags are bang on, so it must be an SEO one. A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett book. At hashtag SEO, hashtag marketing, hashtag small business, hashtag small biz, hashtag content marketing, hashtag digital marketing, hashtag social selling, hashtag Facebook.
I got one.
So if you want the Little Princess book, jump on eBay. It's by Frances Hodgson, and it's apparently an SEO tale about a little princess. So we might review that next week if it's bang on topic. Garrett, buy 5 copies, please, for the team.
Probably not.
That would be so funny. We should just ship them to like our whole team and tell them it's the new trading book we found on Twitter.
That would not end well because they'd probably do it. The one time they listen to us.
Yeah, the one time they read what we send them. Yeah. Whoops.
Topweb3.com using handle at AbdullahJabbar8. Are you looking for a hashtag SEO expert for your hashtag website or hashtag affiliate hashtag marketing? ? Hashtag hire me now. Contact inbox. I show you my hashtag example. I am a hashtag professional, hashtag digital, hashtag marketer, and hashtag SEO expert.
Sounds like it.
I have one from our buddy Tmock at Tmock1. Are you looking hashtag SEO company which provide position your official website in short duration? Then select hashtag Tmock because we cover large area of SEO in world of hashtag online marketing, also information technology. Hashtag SEO services, hashtag cheap SEO service, hashtag SEO plan. And then he's got a nice little picture with his.
I've got one that's relevant to 2 of our topics today. It covers both GDPR and quants all in one short tweet. It's from Saharasha Sifos. And they say, by handling customer data in a marketing channel gives way to find target audience. Hashtag digital marketing, hashtag SEO, hashtag SMM, PPC, web design, content, and ads.
I have breaking news that is revolutionary. You guys are not going to believe this, but it's from a big publication, so we have to trust it. Search Engine Watch at SE Watch. They're verified. They have the blue checkmark thing. Ranker, : how to make a hashtag Google algorithm proof site. Hashtag content, hashtag industry, hashtag SEO. They must have figured it out. Does that mean if it's algorithm proof, it will neither be deranked or ranked? Does it just stay the same no matter what in permanent flux?
Oh, the algorithm, it's so smart, the algorithm just doesn't even know how to deal with it.
How does a major publication publish something as dumb as that? What the fuck?
I've got a good, interesting one here. I'm scared to click the link though, so it's from Cyber Stampede at Cyber Stampede. Another example of good hashtag SEO. And yes, you can have hashtag sex with a porn star, hashtag porn star at Bunny Ranch. It's right here in the hashtag Google, hashtag search, hashtag results, hashtag page, #1, hashtag top 10, and then it's the link, and it's at Cyber Stampede, at Titty Villeur, and at Dennis Hoff. So I'm guessing some brothel in Vegas. Is that in Vegas, John?
It's outside Vegas.
Oh, it sounds like it's in Vegas. It sounds like some brothel in Vegas is now offering sex with porn stars, and apparently it ranks #1 on Google. So if you want to check that out and let us know, I'm not clicking the link because it sounds like the sort of thing where I might get some kind of virus on my computer. So I'm going to just scroll past. But there you go. That's good content marketing, apparently. just offer to let people have sex with porn stars, and you will rank number one.
Weird how that might work.
Yeah.
But it worked really well in financial sex services. You know, one porn star bang at Bunny Stampede with every platinum credit card application.
I think Twitter pisses me off, but anyways, we should wrap up.
What was the bank in America that gave you a free gun with every account? I mean, it's the same kind of idea, isn't it?
I guess. I don't know.
I didn't get my free gun.
One bank.
I don't know, but I want it.
I think it was in Texas. Maybe you can drive down and take care of that.
I don't know. I guess we should wrap up. It's been a couple hours. Yeah, thanks for joining us, John. Appreciate it. While Vin's away, good talking to you. Don't forget to check us out every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry for the 3-week hiatus, but traveling for work, and February wasn't a stellar month for us for a lot of reasons. So we were busy. We were a lot busy. Yeah, Ahrefs. Tim Subin. Yeah. Yep. So we'll be back again next week. Vince should be back from his honeymoon. I don't know where the fuck he went on the cruise or something, but don't forget to smash that like button, share, subscribe, tell your dad about us. Email Sassy Steve your SEO questions, no matter how stupid they may be. He will happily answer them.
It's at SD Brownlee on Twitter. Just send them over send me your tweets. I'll answer any question. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing an answer more sensible than my answers on the show, but I will answer any questions you send over.
And yeah, don't forget to check out the 24hoursSEO.com. If you haven't already, sign up so you get all the presentations and decks and all that fun stuff. Just uploaded 3 more segments last night. Paul Shapiro, Jared Hobbs, and once again, the third person is escaping me, and I do apologize. But there's 3 more up there, and I think maybe this weekend I'll just stick 3 more up there. A lot of people have been on my back about seeing Vin's presentation and the other 2 guys. So
we're going to upload Vin's last to keep you guys in suspense. If he's the keynote now, you guys are going to wait right till the end. Unless we see loads of signups. Like if you guys all promote it to all your friends and we see loads of people signing up to get the slide decks, we'll upload Vin's on Monday. If there's not loads of signups over the weekend, Vin's is going to go up last, and you guys can wait for the keynote.
For sure. All right. With that being said, we'll catch you next week. See you guys.
See you guys.
See ya.